On January 13, 2026, an Ontario court did something Northwest Canadian court had ever done before. It convicted a global beauty conglomerate of hiding forever chemicals in cosmetics sold across this country. The defendant was Estée Lauder Cosmetics Limited. The fine was 750,000 Canadian dollars. The chemical was a PFAS compound called perfluoroanyl dimethicone. That was 133 days ago. But here's what nobody is telling Canadians. A University of Notre Dame study tested 231 cosmetics on store shelves and found PFAS in 82% of waterproof mascaras. CBC Marketplace tested 4 popular brands sold at Shoppers Drug Mart, Sephora Canada, and London Drugs. They found PFAS in 3 of the 4. And Health Canada's cosmetic ingredient hot list. It still does not list PFAS as a prohibited cosmetic ingredient by name. In 2026, a multinational was just convicted in an Ontario courtroom for putting forever chemicals in eye makeup. The regulator that should have caught it never updated the list. And the same parent company that pled guilty in January owns MAC, Clinique, Bobbi Brown, and Tom Ford Beauty. 7 brands exposed. 3 Canadian brands worth your money. And the Estée Lauder conviction story, it's coming at brand number 2. Don't skip ahead. This is the true North Shelf, where the labels get read so the truth gets told. Let's dive in. Before getting into the brands, 2 things every Canadian needs to understand about PFAS in mascara. First, PFAS stands for poor and polyfluoroalkyl substances. Forever chemicals. They don't break down in the environment, they don't break down in your body, and they accumulate over time. In mascara, they are used to make formulas waterproof, smudge-proof, and long-wearing. The same property that makes them resist water in a swimming pool makes them resist breaking down anywhere else. Health Canada has linked PFAS exposure to thyroid disease, liver damage, kidney cancer, decreased fertility, and developmental delays in children. Second, the skin around your eye is the thinnest skin on your entire body. Roughly 0.5 millimeters. The skin on your forearm is about 10 times thicker. Anything you put on your lash line absorbs faster, deeper, and more systemically than almost anywhere else. Keep both of those points in mind, because the brands on this list have been putting forever chemicals on Canadian eyelids for years. Brand number 1. And this one sets the bar. Maybelline sits on every single drugstore beauty wall in this country. Shoppers Drug Mart, Walmart Canada, London Drugs, Pharmaprix, Jean Coutu. Maybelline is owned by L'Oréal Group, the same French multinational that quietly bought Ombrelle from a Quebec dermatology lab in 1997. The same company fined €189 million by EU competition regulators for a cosmetics price-fixing cartel in 2008. In March of 2022, a class action lawsuit was filed in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York. The complaint named 6 specific L'Oréal and Maybelline waterproof mascara products. Voluminous expressed the Falsies waterproof was on the list. The allegation: that L'Oréal marketed these mascaras as safe and appropriate for use around the eyes while failing to disclose that they contained detectable PFAS. The court eventually dismissed the case on a standing technicality. The plaintiffs did not adequately plead that the specific mascaras they personally purchased contained PFAS. The case was dismissed. The chemistry wasn't. The Notre Dame study that triggered the litigation tested the broader category. 82% of waterproof mascaras contained high levels of fluorine, the chemical fingerprint of PFAS. A class action getting dismissed is not the same thing as a product being safe. It's the same thing as plaintiffs not naming the lot number. The lot was on a Canadian shelf. But brand number 2 is where this gets criminal, because that brand's parent company was convicted in an Ontario courtroom 4 months ago. Brand number 2. And this one is criminal. MAC Cosmetics. Owned by Estée Lauder companies. Sold at every Sephora Canada, every Shoppers Drug Mart with a beauty boutique, every MAC standalone store in Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver. In November of 2023, CBC Marketplace conducted independent laboratory testing on 4 mascara brands sold across Canada. Quo Beauty from Shoppers Drug Mart, Marcel, Burt's Bees, and MAC. The lab tested specifically for fluorine, the chemical signature of PFAS contamination. The result: MAC Stack Waterproof Mascara in Black tested positive for measurable PFAS. So did the MAC Studio Fix Foundation. 2 of the 3 PFAS compounds detected, 8-2 FTOH and 10-2 FTOH, are restricted under Canada's existing PFAS regulations when used intentionally. That was 2023. Then January 13, 2026 happened. In an Ontario court, Estée Lauder Cosmetics Limited pled guilty to violations of the Canadian Environmental Protection Act, 1999. The chemical was perfluoroanyl dimethicone, a PFAS silicone polymer used in eyeliners for fixation, durability, and water resistance. The fine was 750,000 Canadian dollars, the largest PFAS-related cosmetics fine in Canadian history. The investigation had been opened in May of 2023 by Environment and Climate Change Canada. Estée Lauder was added to the Federal Environmental Offenders Registry. The court ordered the company to notify its shareholders of the conviction. The eyeliner product lines specifically named in court were not disclosed publicly. But Estée Lauder Companies owns MAC. It owns Clinique. It owns Bobbi Brown. It owns Tom Ford Beauty. It owns La Mer. When the parent company of MAC Stack Waterproof Mascara is the first major beauty conglomerate ever convicted under Canadian environmental law for hiding forever chemicals, you do not get to keep buying their mascara and call it informed consent. That's just buying it twice. This next brand has the dermatologist endorsement. The Lash Drama Promise. The reality is more complicated. Brand number 3 is L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise Waterproof. Let me be honest about something first. This mascara performs. Real lash separation. Real volume. Real lengthening. Canadian beauty editors at Chatelaine and Fashion Magazine have listed it in best of roundups for years. Sephora Canada gives it consistent 4-star ratings. It's been a drugstore beauty staple for almost a decade. That part isn't marketing. That part is true. But Voluminous Lash Paradise Waterproof was the second mascara named in the 2022 L'Oreal class action complaint. The same case. The same PFAS allegations. The same fluorine detection. L'Oreal's response. The company did not deny the chemistry. It argued that the plaintiffs had not proven they bought a specific contaminated lot. That argument worked in court. It does not work on a Canadian eyelid. When a product performs well because of a chemistry that includes forever chemicals, the performance is not separate from the contamination. It's the same thing. PFAS makes mascara waterproof. That's the entire point. The reason Canadian consumers pay $15 for waterproof mascara instead of $10 for regular mascara is the waterproof part. And that waterproof part is, in many formulations, the PFAS. You are not paying extra for better lashes. You are paying extra for forever chemicals. And the parent company of the next brand was just convicted in Ontario for exactly that. Brand number 4 is Clinique High Impact Mascara. Marketed as the allergy-tested, fragrance-free, ophthalmologist-tested mascara. The mascara for sensitive eyes. The mascara dermatologists hand to patients with rosacea or contact lens irritation. The Clinique counter is in every Hudson's Bay beauty section across Canada. Shoppers Drug Mart Beauty Boutique. Sephora Canada Online. London Drugs. Same parent company. Estée Lauder Companies. Clinique built its entire 58-year brand identity on the word hypoallergenic. The white lab coats. The doctor-recommended positioning. The dermatology consultations at the counter. That brand identity belongs to the same company that pled guilty in an Ontario court in January 2026 for hiding PFAS in cosmetics. Clinique High Impact Mascara has not been specifically named in the Estée Lauder conviction filings. Honest disclosure. But Estée Lauder's defense in court did not argue that PFAS was only in one product line. The conviction was for a systemic regulatory violation. For failing to notify Environment and Climate Change Canada of significant new activity involving a regulated substance. The systemic violation came from the systemic use. Hypoallergenic does not mean PFAS-free. Ophthalmologist-tested does not mean tested for forever chemicals. Allergy-tested does not mean tested by Health Canada's Environmental Compliance Branch. Those are 3 different things. The marketing has been selling them as the same thing for decades. If this investigation is useful to you, please subscribe and hit that like button. The algorithm only shows this kind of reporting to Canadians when enough of you tell it to. The next 3 brands. You almost certainly have one of them in your makeup drawer. Brand number 5 is CoverGirl LashBlast Volume. Owned by Coty. The same conglomerate that owns Rimmel, Max Factor, and Sally Hansen. CoverGirl is the entry-tier drugstore mascara in Canada. Walmart Canada. Real Canadian Superstore. Shoppers Drug Mart. Costco occasionally. LashBlast Volume was not in the Notre Dame study specifically. Honest disclosure. But CoverGirl LashBlast Volume contains parfum on its ingredient label. Under Health Canada's updated fragrance allergen disclosure rules that took effect April 12, 2026, the word parfum on a Canadian cosmetic label can no longer hide 24 specific allergens known to trigger contact dermatitis, eye irritation, and respiratory reactions. Those allergens must now be listed by name. Coty has not made public any reformulation announcement for the Canadian CoverGirl LashBlast volume line. The bottles sitting on Walmart Canada shelves today were manufactured before the rule. They are being sold anyway. The eye area, again, is the thinnest skin on the body. The European Cosmetics Regulation classified 8 of the most common parfum allergens as eye irritants over a decade ago. Coty's response in Canada has been silence. Silence is not a reformulation. Brand number 6 is Maybelline Lash Sensational Sky High. Launched in 2021. Within months, it was the most purchased mascara on TikTok. By 2023, it was Maybelline's best-selling product in Canada. Shoppers Drug Mart Beauty Boutique stocks it in 3 different shades. The advertising leaned on a naturally derived angle. Bamboo extract. Fiber infusion. Natural lengthening. That part is marketing language. Lash Sensational Sky High contains, on its full INCI list, dimethicone, copolyols, polyethylene compounds, parfum, and multiple synthetic film formers. Bamboo extract is on the ingredient list. So are 16 other ingredients. L'Oréal's marketing positioning of Lash Sensational Sky High as a natural mascara is exactly the kind of selective disclosure that Health Canada's new fragrance disclosure rules were designed to address. The rules took effect April 12, 2026. The Sky High bottles currently being sold across Canada were manufactured before that date. When the best-selling mascara in the country markets itself as bamboo-infused while containing the same synthetic chemistry as every other waterproof mascara on the shelf, that's not natural beauty. That's a vegetable photo on a polymer formulation. Brand number 7 is Quo Beauty. Quo is the private label cosmetics brand owned by Shoppers Drug Mart. It is exclusive to Shoppers. You cannot buy it anywhere else in Canada. Shoppers built Quo on the same value warehouse promise that built Kirkland's signature at Costco. Save money. Trust the chain. The pharmacy chose this for you. That promise broke in November 2023. When CBC Marketplace conducted its independent PFAS testing of 4 cosmetic brands sold in Canada, Quo Beauty Stay Put eyeshadow tested positive for PFAS in all 3 samples. The detected compounds, 8-2-FTOH and 10-2-FTOH, are restricted under Canadian PFAS regulations. The same brand. The same Shoppers Drug Mart counter. The same private label. Shoppers Drug Mart has not published a recall, a reformulation announcement, or a transparency commitment regarding Quo Cosmetics testing. Quo is contract-packed. Shoppers identifies the formulation, finds a manufacturer, and sells the product under its name. Shoppers does not publish the manufacturer. Shoppers does not publish the formula. When you can't trace who made it, you can't tell what's in it. And when the pharmacy chain's name is on the label, accountability gets thinner than eyelid skin. 7 brands. A federal conviction. 2 L'Oréal class actions. A CBC Marketplace investigation. A Notre Dame peer-reviewed study. And a private label pharmacy mascara that won't disclose its own supplier. That's Canadian mascara in 2026. But mascara is one of the few cosmetics that goes on the most absorbent skin on your entire body, twice a day for decades. The eyelid area absorbs systemically. What you put there ends up in your bloodstream faster than what you put almost anywhere else. Here are 3 Canadian brands that get it right. Hero number 1. Cheekbone Beauty. Founded in 2016 by Jen Harper, a member of the Anishinaabe Nation, out of St. Catharines, Ontario. Cheekbone Beauty is one of the few Indigenous-owned cosmetics companies in Canada and the first to launch on Sephora Canada. The flagship mascara is called Uprise. 99% natural. Vegan. Cruelty-free. Free of parabens, phthalates, sulfates, formaldehyde, lead, talc, BHA, and PEG compounds. Cheekbone produces in small batches with full ingredient transparency. The brand publishes its complete INCI list directly on the product page. No parfum loophole. No vague natural fragrance. No claims that hide behind trademark language. Cheekbone is sold across Canada at Sephora Canada, Indigo, and the brand's own website. The Uprise mascara retails around 28 Canadian dollars. That's not the cheapest mascara on the shelf. But every dollar you spend at Cheekbone goes directly into Indigenous-led education programs through the company's foundation. 3 things on this brand: Indigenous-owned, Canadian-made, transparent. 3 things that none of the 7 villains on this list can claim together. Hero number 2. Pure Anada. Made in Morton, Manitoba. Founded by Candice Grenier, a cosmetologist who built her own laboratory in rural Manitoba because she could not find a Canadian natural cosmetics line that met her own scientific standards. So she made one. Unlike most natural beauty brands that contract out manufacturing, Pure Anada produces everything in its own Manitoba lab. Every batch. Every product. Every formulation. The Pure Anada Natural Mascara is paraben-free, gluten-free, mercury-free, EcoCert approved. It is one of the only mascaras in Canada that publishes its full manufacturing location and production process publicly. The formula is mineral pigment-based with certified organic oils and waxes. No synthetic preservatives. No synthetic dyes. No fragrances. Pure Anada is sold across Canada through Well.ca, Healthy Planet, the Detox Market, and independent natural health stores from Halifax to Victoria. The mascara retails around 26 Canadian dollars. For Canadians who want a mascara that traces back to a specific lab in a specific province on a specific date, this is the brand. And hero number 3. This one is for Canadians who want to keep their money in Canada and keep their cosmetics out of the landfill. Elate Cosmetics. Founded in Victoria, British Columbia, by Melody Reynolds. Made in Canada. Vegan. Cruelty-free. EWG verified across the entire product line. The flagship product is called Essential Mascara. Water and sweat resistant without synthetic fluorocarbons. Made with organic white tea extract. Formulated specifically for sensitive eyes and contact lens wearers. But the part that matters most is the packaging. Essential Mascara comes in a glass vial with a water-treated bamboo lid. The wand is reusable. Refills are sold separately. Over 95% of Elate's packaging is reusable, recyclable, or plantable. Elate's mascara is sold across Canada through Pretty Clean Shop, the Detox Market, Roots Refillery, and the company's own website. Retails around 32 Canadian dollars including the reusable case. It is not the cheapest mascara on the Canadian market. It is the only one that is Canadian-made, EWG verified, PFAS-free, and designed to never end up in a single-use container in a landfill. 3 brands. The simplest decisions on this list. Mascara should be one of the simplest cosmetic decisions any Canadian makes. A pigment. A wax. A want to apply it. But somewhere between the laboratory and the Sephora counter, certain brands found ways to complicate that. Forever chemicals to make it waterproof. Parfum allergens to make it smell expensive. Private labels to hide the supplier. And a multinational conviction in an Ontario courtroom that the regulator has not yet translated into the hot list. 3 questions to ask before any mascara goes on a Canadian eyelid. Is it certified PFAS-free, or just waterproof with no further explanation? Does the brand publish its complete INCI list without the word parfum? And is the manufacturer Canadian, or at least transparent about who actually makes the formulation? If the label can't answer all 3, put it back. This is the true North Shelf. Stay safe. Stay educated. Thanks for watching.